Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. Normally, these special Mondays are morseled with Jimmy Failla, who is off today. He is performing some routine radiology. A lot of people don't realize that he is a world-renowned physician, and he doesn't just travel the country doing stand-up. He also gives proctological exams, and we're very proud of him for that. Emily Compagno, the host of Outnumbered, is sitting in for Jimmy Failla on this magical Monday. Welcome back to Kennedy Saves the World. It's wonderful to have you. So I wanted to do a happy hour with you this week, but we have to talk about the Olympics. And by the time happy hour rolls around, no one will care anymore.
Okay.
I watched the Olympics obsessively, and I was like too obsessed with the medal count and our golds versus China. I checked it 5 times a day.
So what is your take on us not obliterating China in the gold department? Are you in the camp of people who are outraged, or are you in the camp
I
of
actually
people
thought
that are...
the U.S. did really well.
Okay.
Better than I thought in a number of different events. I love obviously watching gymnastics, and Simone Biles. I think that was one of the best comeback stories in all of sports, and I adored it. I thought it was stupid, her beef with Michaela Skinner.
Yeah.
That was so far beneath her, and everyone knows you should never punch down. And she's better than that, but I think these games will remember her maybe above any other athlete. But I did love in track and field the female runners. Sydney McLaughlin-Leroney is my favorite runner ever. She is incredible. So she's the one who runs the 400-meter hurdles, but she also ran the 4x400, and they won by a ridiculous, 4 seconds. It was an insane margin. And then Gabby Thomas won the 200 meters and then also competed in the 4x100 and the 4x400. She won 3 golds. And Sha'Carri Richardson, who tested positive for THC in Tokyo, they wouldn't let her appeal in time to make the Olympic team. So she was competing in her first Olympics. She got silver in the 100, but then she won gold in the 4x100, and she ran the anchor leg. So she was incredible. But my 2 favorites were Cole Hawker. So he won the men's 1500, and he came from behind, total dark horse in the pack. There was a guy from Norway and a guy from Great Britain who have this massive global rivalry, and they were elbowing each other, and they're they're going to win one too. And Cole Hawker beat everyone, and they're like, what? An American won the 1500? So that happened, and then a kid named Grant Fisher won the men's 5,000 and the men's 10,000. He didn't win. He was bronze and almost silver in both those events, and no American man has ever won both those events. That was awesome.
Did the man from Tonga arrive shirtless for the ceremonies?
I didn't see him because the closing ceremony was so stupid that I was bored to tears. And I was like, this closing ceremony is everything that's wrong with France. And so that was yesterday. We had brunch, and then I was so excited to watch the closing ceremony. And I was like, really? This is it? It was so dumb and poorly paced and too esoteric and a total waste of time. And then, of course, they have to hand it off to Los Angeles. And they have Tom Cruise rappel into the studio and take the Olympic flag from Simone Biles and Karen Bass, who's the mayor of LA. And then he disappears below the studio and somehow gets on a plane and flies to the Hollywood sign, which now has the Olympic rings. And then a bunch of athletes, including Michael Johnson, run with the Olympic flag through the streets of Los Angeles and end up at Memorial Coliseum. And then Red Hot Chili Peppers, Billie Eilish, and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre all played at Long Beach at Belmont Shore.
That sounds phenomenal.
That was dope as A.
I mean, that sounds like the Super Bowl.
Yes.
A little bit of the Super Bowl.
Exactly right. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
That halftime show when it was in LA, and it was like, oh my God, LA is so good at shows and music.
Totally.
So it was like, that's all they have to do is and
be themselves.
France was like, everyone is going to be vegan, and the buses won't have air conditioning, and the athletes will feel like they're going to die. It's like, gross. And LA's like, yeah, let's party. This is Anthony Kiedis.
Well, that sounds awesome. So, where did you fall on we talked about it a little bit at brunch, but like talk to us about the whole Romania time. You know, they have a minute to
Mhm.
appeal and they were outside of that bound. So the USA gymnast got the bronze, but then it was stripped after a week.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
I
that?
feel like all judged sports in the Olympics are corrupt. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's gymnastics or artistic swimming
Mm-hmm.
or figure skating, whatever, anything that is judged can be corrupted. And we have seen that over and over again. Diving. And my other issue with China swimmers, they were all juicing, but somehow most of them were allowed to compete in the games. And they should not have been able to do that. There was something really wrong about that. And I don't think the Chinese divers are that much better than everyone. I felt bad for the Romanian girl because she did what she was supposed to do. She won the bronze. They're like, she gets the bronze and she's running around with a little Romanian flag. And then they're like, JK, we gave Jordan Child some extra points. Boop. And that seemed very cruel. And so they stripped the Romanian gymnast and she was like, I will curse your soul, gypsy. And they gave it to Jordan Child. She's like, woo, medals, medals, medals. My only career, individual medal. And so she was happy, but it's like the entire world is not for U.S. athletes' happiness. Like they need to execute perfection. So I think the Romanian girl should have gotten it.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
Would you rather, for the rest of your life, never have any more Summer Olympics or never have any more Winter Olympics?
I mean, I hate to say it because I love snowboarding, but I think the Americans have really fallen off in the winter sports. So I'd rather, if you got to get rid of one of them, I'd get rid of the Winter Olympics. And I covered the Winter Olympics in 1998 in Nagano for CBS, the first year they had snowboarding. And it was really fun and special and cool. And I spent a month in Japan and it was remarkable. It was one of the very highlights in my broadcast career. It was amazing. And I loved it. And I think about it all the time. And I loved seeing all those sports. I loved seeing hockey and figure skating and all those things in person. And of course, the snowboarding. But the Americans aren't as good as they used to be in the winter sports. So, but I was worried that we weren't going to show up for the summer sports. The men's swimming, they won one individual gold medal the entire Olympics. The women did really, really well. Kate Douglas and Katie Ledecky and Tori Husk and some of the other American swimmers just did a phenomenal job. The men were asleep in the water. So, but track totally saved it. It's like Rai Benjamin is a sexy bastard. And so he won the men's 400-meter hurdles and then anchored the 4x400 and won gold again. And he deserved every ounce of it.
Where are the
Even if
Winter
it's fake.
Olympics? That's right. In 2 years.
Oh, that's a great question. It's not the U.S., but they are coming back to Utah. But obviously in 4 years, the Summer Olympics are in LA, and I'm really excited about that.
Let me look it up so
She's
I
gonna
know
look
where
it
we
up.
are going.
So
Because for me, I'm
It's-
all about Winter Olympics.
yeah,
Winter Olympics 2026.
Canada.
Milan.
Oh, that's great.
That's right. Well, we're going to be putting in our notice
not,
right now.
It's not Torino. It's Milan. Milano.
Milan. Cortina
Oh, Cortina.
d'Ampezzo. Verona.
Cortina is absolutely beautiful.
Dude.
That'll be really fun. I can't wait.
Well,
Should we start packing?
Yes, we should. We should
think you're
definitely buy
absolutely
our
right.
tickets now and start pitching ourselves.
Did you
as
watch any of the
hosts
Olympics?
extraordinary. I really didn't, to be honest. I'm not. Look, I gymnastics, yes, 1,000,000%. I love. This year I really didn't watch anything. I love Winter Olympics. Winter Olympics, I watch so much more than summer. I mean, it was on in all the bars and the airports and stuff, so sort of, but like
Every time
really
an
didn't.
American wins a gold medal, I cry when the Star Spangled Banner is played. Every time.
right, as you should.
Is that a condition?
Did I tell you about my best friend Katie's dad? Her story. His story is remarkable. So, Andras Toro, he is Hungarian, born and raised there, and rode for the Hungarian team. This was like post, during the communist bloc and everything. And he ended up. They went. I don't know which games it was, but they didn't medal, and essentially they were given one more chance, and they were like, you better medal, and it was actually Japan. So they went there, they did medal, and he defected to the United States because he, as he says now, like, I knew it doesn't, first of all, it doesn't matter even if you medal or not. the life, like while you are an athlete, you have sufficient rations, and sure, you're sort of a celeb at the same time, but you're still, you're still relegated to everything else. You're still living in a hideous circumstance. And post athletic career, you are in the factories alongside everyone else. He defected to the U.S., rode for the U.S.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Was part of their medaling team, met Katie's mom at University of Michigan in their rowing program. She's a rower too.
Oh my gosh.
And then he ended up serving on the Olympic committee. He was vice
wow.
president. Yeah, he's an incredible. He wrote a book about everything. And Katie and her brother were phenomenal athletes. He was captain of the Yale rowing team. Katie played soccer growing up. She was like a phenomenal goalie, and we both were varsity 4 years. I don't know why I was and she was, because she was amazing, and it was fantastic. And then she ended up being a fashion designer here. But his story was just phenomenal. So I love the Olympics, and I love the Olympics. I don't know. I think I have to admit, Kennedy, that I think something now, like, a lot of it has lost its luster. I am tired of the wokeism penetrating everything. I'm tired of the manufactured or the sort of outrageous controversies, the outrage. I'm sick of social media about it.
All of that stuff happens outside of the Olympic performances themselves, but when you just focus on what the athletes do, and it's when you see some of these women who train in places like Kenya and Ethiopia, it really it's sparse, but they are so committed to their sports. And what I also loved is some of the moms who competed. And Allison Felix, who's one of the most decorated female Olympians ever, she lobbied for nursing rooms for nursing moms, which they never had before. Allison Felix really made that push. And what I also loved is U.S. women won the gold in soccer. Emma Hayes was the coach at Chelsea, and she's only had the team for a few months, and they've only played like 10 games together. And, she took that program back to the top of the podium, which was phenomenal. And they asked her afterward, like, how'd you do it? And she said, love. She goes, I want these women to play with joy, and I want them to know that they're loved and supported. And she said, America means so much to me, and I was so happy to win this medal for the United States of America, because she came over and, worked her way through the American collegiate system, and now she's a beloved gold medal winning champion coach.
Didn't we also win rugby? Women's rugby?
Bronze. We beat Australia for the bronze.
Copy. Yes to all of that, and I feel like I love it all.
And the women's team, so much better without Megan Rapinoe.
Oh.
Like such a woke distraction. And
that's what I mean.
Yeah. And these women were like tough and strong and determined and playing together. And it wasn't as
unified.
Much me. Yeah, it was a team. And that's what made it so cool.
One of my other, seeing as how I have no stories about this Olympics, but my good friend Lisa, her sister, and I've mentioned her on Outnumbered, you've heard me mention her name, Laura Webster, is an incredible Paralympic athlete.
Oh, wow.
Sitting volleyball. I went to the Paralympics in London. I went
2012?
Yes.
Awesome.
I went to the China-US sitting volleyball. I was overcome immediately crying like that. It is just incredible to watch. She's medaled multiple times in the Olympic Games. She's won multiple awards within her team, in addition to collegiate career and everything. But she played in the Olympics and won the medal while pregnant.
Wow.
That's right. And so I feel like I always think of her as when someone
that's
says,
like a triple superhero.
Yes. Name your favorite athlete of all time. It is Laura Webster. And that, to me, by the way, when you talked about it, it triggered my memory when you talked about the nursing rooms that Alexis fought for.
Allison Felix.
Alexis
McAdams.
Allison plus Felix makes Alexis.
That's right.
That's the reality, man, is that these athletes, the real women athletes, the biological women athletes, they are mothers also. Mm-hmm. And it's just incredible to think about that, what their bodies go through in addition just to gestating, but also on that superhuman and super performance athletic level. Yeah. And like Laura's an example. I'm sure there are many, by the way, medaling athletes that were pregnant at the time. They just maybe didn't know it, or we didn't know it because it's in early stages, just as she was. She was it was like 3 or 4. But that's incredible. Yeah. These women are incredible.
And because for so long, the going wisdom was, well, once you have a kid, like you're done being an athlete. And then these women started to put up better times than before they had kids. And they're like, okay, something has happened to my drive. Wow. Like I am now so disciplined and so focused, and now I'm living for something other than myself. So it's always like so inspiring when moms win medals. I love it.
Hell
Or just,
yes.
do really well, even if they don't win medals.
Yeah.
Speaking of medals, I want to make you a gold medal mocktail for a happy hour.
That's right.
Will you stick around so we
Yes.
can have a happy hour conversation?
I would love to.
Okay, well, this has been Kennedy Saves the World. We'll see you at the end of the week with Emily Compagno. Stay here. Don't move. I swear.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.